Funk Grooves Volume 2, because, well, do we even need a reason to play funky grooves? It's just great. Groove 1. 1, 2, 3. So once again, we're starting out with a slightly easier groove, even though it has a lot of notes going on. What's happening is 16th notes, our favourite, and we're doing a hand-to-hand groove, which means we're playing mostly on the hi-hat. We'll add that extra little funky ghost note that was going on in just a minute. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 2 and 4 are snare drums. That's going to be your right hand moving from the hi-hat to hit the snare drum. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Now all we're doing to add this extra summit is to also move that left hand down on the of 1 and the of 3, the note just before 2 and 4. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. The important part about this isn't just the consistency, that's the nature of all 16th note grooves, but getting that left hand nice and low and ghosty, because you don't need, I mean, you could, but it just sounds a bit nicer when you've got a bit more dynamic contrast. Now, the bass drum pattern is also dead simple in theory, but in application it can require a little bit of extra technique going on. Classic 1 and 3. But like with the snare drums, we're having a little extra kick in front of the main kick drums, if that makes sense. So in this case, it'd be the of 2 and the of 4. So you end up with a 1, a 3, 4, a 1, 2, a 3, 4. If you're struggling to get the speed you want, then I highly suggest you check out the video I've done talking about foot technique, because I can't talk about foot technique in every single video, take up too much time. But one thing I will say is try your best to sync those two bass drums up with your hi-hats. What will happen is the will fall with your left on the hi-hat, a 1, and then the next bass drum will fall with the right. 1, a 3, a 1, a 3. Just helps to lock those two together. And there you have it. I'd really suggest finding a tempo at which you can make this feel good. It's not just about getting the notes right. You can play it correctly and it be all over the place, especially with something consistent like a 16th note groove. So take it slow, make it feel good, then worry about the speed later down the line. Groove number 2. We got loads of stuff going on in here. We're moving over from 16th notes, hand-to-hand 16th notes, to one-handed 16th notes. But also, we're not just doing boring straight notes. Oh no, my friend, we're accenting the and. Alas, I get ahead of myself. The main groove is this. First 2 beats, 16th notes on the hi-hat, all the way through in the right hand. Beat 1 is just a bass drum on 1 and the of 1, 1 and 1 E and a. On the we're getting ready to hit a snare drum on 2, but also the and of 2 as well. We've got 2 snare drums in a row. 1, a 2, and then just 1 cheeky extra bass drum on the of 2 as well. 1, a 2, and a. And we're going to stay on that kind of offbeat theme through beat 3. So you're going to get E and of 3 on the bass drum as well. 1, a 2, and E, a 4. 1, a 2, E, a 4. Really make sure when you've got offbeats like that and you've got a fast, consistent element that you've also got to try and hold in the right, just make sure they all sync up really nicely. It takes a bit of work. Don't want no flamming going on, don't want no rushing going on. I suggest an exercise you actually play is just 16th notes on the right, and then all your E's and O's on the bass drum counting out loud. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. If you want to take it a step further, put a snare drum on 2 and 4. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. I also suggest you apply the hi-hat pattern that we're about to add to this groove in just a moment. Before we do that, we've got most of the groove now. All that's missing is a little zhuzh, which is a little buzz on the of 4. 1, 2, and E of 4, That buzz is going to be coming down with a hi-hat as well. Sorry, got excited, made that up. Now, the last step to kind of take this up in difficulty is to now accent all the hi-hats that are on the and of the beat. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. You might, if you've never done this before, just want to get used to that motion first of all. So all tapping on the top, apart from the and. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Making sure not to lose that pattern as we add more busy stuff. And then just get used to 2 and 4 on the snare drum. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Because if you're used to doing your rock hi-hat pattern stuff, your brain is really going to want to come down on the edge with the snare drum like that. So build it up gradually with this pattern. Add a bass drum on 1 and 3. Then add in that extra snare drum, 1 and 2 and, because that second snare drum is going to fall with the accent on the edge. 4 and like I said before with the exercise, 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Now add that pattern, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and That should help you now mix everything together. So there you have it. 3, 4. All right, groove number 3, I think, is my favorite one we've done in these videos so far because it is very closely related to a tasty Rosanna shuffle. 3, 4. This should, in theory, be less complicated than the classic Rosanna shuffle because we've got less ghost notes going on. But before we get into that, let's just talk about what's happening. First of all, it is a shuffle. And we want to be having that kind of rock hi-hat motion to our shuffle. If you don't know what a shuffle is, then feel free to check out the video that is part of the huge 40 video compilation that is on this channel. It's called the New Drummers Toolkit, and there should be a timestamp with the video title, What is a Shuffle? Or How to Play a Shuffle. You know the drill. Anyway, this is a 16th note swing, so it's 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. 2 and 4 on the snare drum before we get complicated. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now the bass drum pattern. 1, 2, a 3 E, a. So all these bass drums that are falling on an E or an a are going to fall as your hi-hat is hitting the tip of the stick. Again, this is why this motion and understanding where you are while doing this is important. Counting out loud is kind of vital. 1, 2, a. Notice, a. A 3 E, 4 a. So we got a lot of kind of pushy bass drums here, and it's important to make sure that your bass drum is synced up with your hi-hat. Get this groove down, feeling good, funky, fresh, before you even try to add this ghost note in. So how do we go about playing this ghost note? And by this ghost note, I mean the ones that are here, right before the main accent on snare drum. It's just a very, very subtle tap that falls in between your 2 hi-hats. So remember that a shuffle is just a triplet with the middle note taken out. We're now putting that middle note back in. Make no sense? Don't worry. It probably makes more sense if you just listen to it. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. If you want to think about it as there's a tap after that edge hit, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And I'd say make sure that this motion feels very fluid and very easy before you try and apply it to everything else. Don't lose that consistency in the hi-hat. You want everything to feel kind of circular. 1. Take your time with that, it will be worth it. But fortunately, in this groove, you don't have to do the full Rosanna and do the whole time. Nor do we have to get the ghost note straight after the accent either. So if we go from and a 4 or and a 2 just before that main snare drum, we're now going to add just a cheeky little ghost note. And a 2. And a 2. Right, left, right together. And a 4. And a 2. And a 4. And in context, it should go a little something like this. 3, 4. You can start to get a bit creative as to where you put those ghost notes. At the beginning of the Rosanna, I know I keep harking on about it, but Jeff Porcaro does make it a bit more sparing, his ghost note choice, and it just adds just a little bit of extra finesse to all your grooves. So don't apply it to just this, see how you do with other shuffles as well. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out a whole bunch of other videos I've done, not only about funk and rock grooves and fills and stuff like that, but also different time signatures. Feel free to check those out. Those are a doozy. Also, if you are struggling with some of the bass drum speed needed to get these grooves out and feeling good, check out the video I've done on bass drum technique. It should be pretty clear or linked here. Either way, I hope you have a fantastic day and big love.